Hello and welcome to this video where I will be showing you how you can use the IK constraints inside of Spine. So I loaded up one of the example projects, and you can find this project in where you install Spine in the examples folder. It's called Raptor. And in this project I have a total of 9 constraints. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. We have 4 constraints down here at the feet. You can see these red dots here. And then I have a constraint here for the stirrup. I have a constraint for each foot, and I have a constraint for each hand. And what this allows me to do is for these, for the Raptor's feet, I can move the hip around, and you can see that the feet stay in place. I can rotate the foot here to give it a nice bend while the feet stays planted. I can move it up. I can select the other constraint here, I can move it, and once again the foot stays in place. And up here on Spineboy himself, I can move the hip, and the hands and the feet also stay in place. This also means that I can take the head here and I can rotate it, move it back a bit, and his hands stay in place. But instead of using this project, I'm going to take the Spineboy project, which is also in the examples folder, and I'm going to show you how to set up IK constraints on that, because it's for a simpler project. Now, before I do any of this, the first thing I want to do is I actually want to move the, see, we have the skeleton, Spineboy, then we have hip. We've taken the root bone and changed or renamed it to hip, but I want to be able to place a constraint outside at a higher level than the hip. So before I start creating the constraints here, I'm just gonna create a bone here, put on some bone compensation. Then I'm gonna take these 3 bones here, move them up, rename the hip to root, and then rename the new bone to hip. Then take the old hip bone, move it down, and then the new hip bone and move it up here. So now if I create a constraint, it will be parented to the root, which is outside of the main skeleton hierarchy. So to create the constraints themselves, I'm just going to select these 2 bones here, and then click the constraints node, new IK constraint, and you can see up here it says new IK constraint, choose target. What I can do is I can select an existing bone, or I can just click out here in empty space. I'm just going to click there, call it right ankle goal. And now if I move this around, see the leg follows. If I move the hip down, you can also see that the leg stays in place. I want to make this bone here stay in place, so what I can do is I can just select this single bone, and then now click constraints, and then create a new one, call it right foot tip goal. Actually, let's call it right foot goal instead. And now I have 2 goals. I'm going to take the ankle goal, make it a child of the right foot goal. So now if I rotate this bone here, see he does a little tiptoe action here. If I move this up, see it constantly points at this goal down here. So if I want to lift the leg, I just take this constraint here instead. But since the foot is rather big, I would like it to actually bend in the middle. So I'm just going to undo what I just did here. Take this bone, make it a bit shorter. I'm going to put on image compensation, rotate this down, and create a second bone here instead. And now on this bone, I'm going to turn off inherit rotation. This means I can rotate this bone without this bone here being rotated as well. Going to create my constraint again. Just put it right there. Right foot goal, just like before, and you can see I can See, if I move this around, the bone I created extra here is not rotating. So I'm just gonna put the ankle again as a parent of the right foot goal and move this. See, now if I rotate it, it actually stays in place. I'm gonna put on some bone compensation, try and center it a little better, like so. And then I'm gonna select the image and turn it into a mesh. To edit and then create. I'm just quickly gonna create a mesh out of this. Like so. Get rid of the edges here that I don't need. This, go out of mesh mode, and now go into weights mode. Then pick these two bones here, right click, wait for it to calculate the weights. There we go. And now if I select this bone here, rotate it, you can see that it's deforming the image. This means now I can start doing some really cool things with this foot here. And that is basically all there is to it. So before I finish this video, I just want to mention that this is likely to be the last tutorial video on this YouTube channel. We'll be moving all future videos to a different channel, and as soon as that happens, I'll create a video and make you all aware of it, and put a link to the new YouTube channel so you can follow along there. And we'll have new videos for every single feature in Spine pretty soon. I'll be starting work on them sometime early next month, and hopefully we'll have a bunch of new videos done for you with all the new features. So until next time, bye for now.